am Teacher Mylene.
I am Teacher John Ray.
This video is all about the simple past and past perfect tense of the verb.
Before we start with our lesson, let us first have a short review about the parts of a sentence. We all know that a sentence must have a subject and a predicate. For example, the Philippines celebrated Day of Valor last Friday. The subject in this sentence is the Philippines, and the predicate is celebrated Day of Valor last Friday. Remember that the predicate always starts with the verb in this sentence. The verb is celebrated. The general definition of a verb that is express action, but bear in mind that verbs express not only action but also time. The time element the verb is called tenses of verb. Is in past tense if the action happened in the past. It is in the present tense if the action is currently happening. The verb is in the future tense if the action will happen in the future. Each of the tenses has four aspects: simple, progressive, perfect, and perfect progressive. Simple tenses are used whenever you are talking about an action at a specific point in time. Progressive tenses are used whenever you are talking about the specific length of time of an action. Perfect tenses are used whenever you are talking about a point in time before another action happens at a specific point in time. And the last, perfect progressive tenses are used whenever you are talking about how long one action takes place up to the time another action happens. But in this video lesson, we shall only be focusing on simple past and past perfect tenses of the verb. The simple past tense shows completed past action or condition at a specific points in time. It means that the action happened before now. If we have a regular verb form, the verb in the simple past tense based on this formula: base form of the verb plus D if the verb ends in A, or ed if the verb ends in a consonant, and Y. For example, the verb love ends in A, so we only have to add D. Therefore, the past tense is love. Cook in the consonant K, we have to add ed, so the past tense of cook is cook. P ends in Y, we have to change Y to I, then add ed, thus the past tense of pay is paid. Let's have some sample sentence. 2 days ago, the war veterans practiced for the parade. The verb in the sentence is practice. The verb practice ends in A, though we only have to add D to form its past tense. This action is completed in the past based on the time marker given 2 days ago. Let's have another sample sentence. The Filipinos lauded the frontliners in the celebration of the Day of Valor last Friday. The verb in the sentence is lauded. The base form of the verb is laud. Since it ends with the consonant D, we have to add ed to form the past tense of the verb. We could know that the sentence is in the past as it shows a completed action through the time marker given last. Friday. The formula or base form of the verb plus D or ed is only applicable for the regular verbs, that if the verb is irregular, you have to change the spelling of the verb. Look at this example. Lorenzo del Castillo built the Shrine of Valor at Mount Samat, Bataan in 1970. The verb in the sentence is built, which is the past form of build. Notice that is case ed was not added to build to form the past tense of the verb. Rather, the spelling was changed. This is because the verb build is an irregular verb. This action is completed in the past because of the time marker in 1970. Let's have another example. Sino Rivera made the design for the 3 large stained glass windows in the shrine of Valor 50 years ago. The verb in this sentence is made, which is the past tense of the irregular verb make. This action is proven to be completed in the past because of the time maker 50 years ago. Some sentences may state something that is not true or incorrect. These are called negative sentences. Look at these examples. The Japanese traveled 76,000 prisoners to a prison camp in San Fernando. In forming simple past negative, the formula did not plus base form of the verb is followed. So if you will transform the positive sentence, the Japanese traveled 76,000 prisoners to a prison camp in San Fernando. To a negative sentence, it would be the Japanese did not travel the 76,000 prisoners to a prison camp in San Fernando. The verb traveled is changed to did not plus base form of traveled, which is travel. Let's have more sample sentence. American and Filipino soldiers did not die on the battlefield. They died on the 150 kilometers march. The verb in the first sentence is did not die. This is the simple past negative form of the verb. The next sentence, the veterans from the Second World War did not parade in cities across the Philippines this year. The verb did not parade is the simple past negative form of the verb parade. Simple past tense can also be used in these questions are interrogative sentences. The following formula must be used: did plus the subject plus the base form of the verb. Take a look at this example. Did President Carlos Garcia sign the law proclaiming the 90th day of April as a legal holiday? This sentence follows the given formula in creating an interrogative sentence in simple past form. Did plus the subject is President Carlos Garcia plus base form of the verb sign. Here's another sample of an interrogative sentence and simple past form. Did 3rd Lieutenant Normando Reyes announce the broadcast message about the fall of Bataan on April 9, 1942? Again, the sentence follows the formula did plus the subject 3rd Lieutenant Normando Reyes plus the base form of the verb announce. Time markers can you help you understand the determine that an action has happened in the past. These are also called as signal words. Here are few examples used in the simple past tense. Example: yesterday, last year, a month ago, when, before, a while ago, and last night.
We are done with the simple past tense. This time, we discuss the past perfect tense. If the simple past shows completed action in the past perfect tense shows one action is completed before another action. Thus, there are two actions in the sentence. The first action started in the past and continued up to given time in the past. The verb follows the formula below. Had plus past participle of the verb. For example, had plus past participle of clean is cleaned. We have had cleaned. The past perfect tense for regular verb make. We have had plus the past participle of make, which is made. Therefore, the past perfect tense of make is had made. For the regular verb see, the past participle is seen. This is different from its past tense saw. So, the past perfect tense of see is had seen. Please bear in mind that the past form of the verb is different from the past participle. Let's have a quick review past tense and past participle of some irregular verb. The verb is be or be. The simple past is was for singular nouns and were for plural nouns. The participle is been. The verb is come. Simple past is came. Past participle is come. The verb is do. Simple past is did. Past participle is done. The verb eat. Simple past is ate. Past participle is eaten. The verb take. Simple past is took. Past participle is taken. And the verb is write. Simple past is wrote. Past participle is written. Let's have an example sentence that uses the past perfect tense of the verb. The war veterans had gathered virtually in Zoom before the organizers streamed the Day of Valor celebrated in Facebook Live. In order to know that the sentence is in the past perfect tense, there should be the two actions. The first action should be completed before another action. In this sentence, the first action is the war veterans had gathered virtually in Zoom. This event happened first, followed by the second event. The organizers streamed the Day of Valor celebrated in Facebook Live. In the first action, the verb used the past perfect tense had plus past participle of gather, which is gathered. On the second action, notice that the verb is in the simple past tense stream plus ed. Time signal used in this sentence is before. Let's have another example. They had held the historical webinar series before they launched the program, a tribute to all Filipino heroes. The first action is they had held the historical webinar series, and the second action is they launched the program, a tribute to all Filipino heroes. We would know that what action is completed first based on the time marker used before. The verb in the first action in the past perfect tense had held. Had plus participle of the irregular verb hold. Past perfect tense may also shows that an action happened before a specific time in the past. For example, the American and Filipino soldiers had surrendered to the Japanese before dawn of April 9, 1942. This sentence shows that an action, the surrender of American and Filipino soldiers, happened before a specific time in the past, and that is done on April 9, 1942. Therefore, the past perfect tense of the verb used is had surrender. The past perfect tense may also be used in negative sentence. The formula for past perfect negative is had not plus past participle of the verb. For example, the soldiers had not had food nor water until they reached the prison camp. The verb had not had is the past participle negative form of had not plus past participle of had, which is had. The time signal used in the sentence is until. Another formula for past perfect negative is had never plus past participle of the verb. For example, the celebration of the Day of Valor had never streamed online until 2020. The verb in the sentence is had never streamed online. This shows that this action did not happen before 2020. For asking a question in the past perfect tense, follow the formula. Had plus subject plus past participle. For example, had the observance of Day of Valor changed before the time of President Cory Aquino? In this sentence, let's start with had, the subject which are the observance of Day of Valor, plus the past participle of verb is changed. Here's another example of an interrogative sentence in the past perfect tense. Had the Japanese taken down other provinces before conquering Bataan? Again, it follows the formula had plus the subject, which are the Japanese, followed by the past participle of the verb take, which is taken. Just remember that simple past tense shows completed past action at a specific point in time, while past perfect tense shows that an action is completed before another action. To better remember the difference of the two, be familiarized with the formula. Simple past form of the verb plus d or ed, and for past perfect it's had plus past participle. For negative sentences, the formula for simple past did not plus base form of the verb, while for past perfect is had not or had never plus the past participle. For interrogative sentences or questions, use the formula did plus subject plus base form of the verb. For simple past tense, had plus subject plus past participle of the verb. For the perfect or for past perfect tense. For the activity, just scan this QR code to see the questions. That is this for this video. I hope that you can use the past and past perfect tense in writing sentence in a varied context.